What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about secrets to leveling up your personal brand. Let's get into it. What's shaking, everybody? Welcome to another Brand Doctor live stream. I'm your host, Henry Kaminski Jr., and today we're going to be talking about secrets to leveling up your personal brand. So one of the things that we want to talk about today is simply this. How are you being perceived on social media? Okay. Have you ever gotten a chance to get that outside perspective on how people, your audience, clients, potential clients are perceiving your online presence? Okay. Is it coming across cheap? Is it coming across amateur? Or are you coming across more polished, professional, exclusive? You know, it's a shame because, I mean, this has happened to me in my earlier career. I didn't know how people were perceiving me. I thought I was the best thing since sliced bread. I thought everything looked exactly the way it should. Meanwhile, I was so off the mark. I was attracting these types of clients that were horrible fits. And I was asking myself, why is this happening? And then I finally got an outside perspective. And they said, Henry, the reason why you're attracting these types of clients is because look at what you're putting out there. You're coming across like a psycho salesman who needs their last job, who needs every job that they could get in order to keep the lights on. You're coming across desperate. You're not positioned well. Look at the way your identity looks online. It's not consistent. Your messaging is all over the place. And I was like, man, believe me, as a branding professional, it was a lot for me to swallow because I started doubting myself. I started saying, if I can't get this right, then how can I teach other people to do it right? And that's when I started to do a lot of internal work, professionally, personally, and I got very, very clear with who it is that I wanted to serve. So now I'm coming across a lot more polished and professional, like you see here. And that's what I wish for you. And so some of the things that we're going to talk about today is going to help you get that polished, professional look, or whatever the look that you're going for. My types of clients, they're looking for polished and professional. You may want to come across more approachable and a little less polished and professional. Whatever it is, it's got to get tuned up. Otherwise, you're going to attract the wrong clients. So one of the things that I want you to own about your personal brand is its personality. And one of the things that I want you to pay attention to and remember is you were born to be authentic, not perfect. Okay? What does that mean? Well, I just got off of a live stream earlier today, and I was explaining to the folks, there's about 50 people on this Zoom call, and I was explaining to them that in certain markets, there's a lot of people with a lot of influence telling people, well, just go out and copy your competitor's website. And, just change it enough so that they can't come after you. And then run with it because success leaves clues. Now, I believe that statement, but I don't believe the second half of it. meaning just going out and modeling your website off of a competitor because that's what they're doing and they're having success. Now you just become a Me Too brand. There's nothing about your business that's different, maybe other than some color schemes and some fonts and maybe some pictures. Everything else is identical. You're making it actually harder for your audience to choose you now versus making it a easy choice. Where's your personality? Where's your business's personality? It's lost or it's covered because somebody told you to go copy somebody else's stuff. It's not what I want for you. So remember, you were born to be authentic, not perfect. So let's dive into personality a little bit, okay? Just from the way that you dress can communicate a lot about you and your personality. There was a Instagram follower that reached out to me not too long ago, and she was self-conscious about her accent. She had a very strong British accent, and she was very self-conscious about it. And I said, why? Well, sometimes I can sometimes people will perceive me as snooty. Are you? No, I'm not. So then what are you worried about? When I hear a British accent, I get the impression of sophistication. Me personally. So why don't you own that story in your head versus you coming across snooty? We play these we play these mind games with ourselves that really back us into a corner that aren't even real. They don't even exist. They're not true. So when you start thinking like that, think of the exact opposite. So, personality. Me, I'm from New Jersey. I grew up, born and raised right outside of New York City, about 30, 40 minutes. There is a swag to me that unless you're from this area, you can't clone. You can't imitate. You can imitate, yes, but you're never going to do it like me. So when I get these people, how many doctor websites have you designed before in the past? I laugh because I'm saying, listen, if that's what you're worried about, how many doctor websites I created, why don't you play it safe? Why don't you go hire the doctor website company and let them build you a website that looks like all the other doctor websites out there and see how far you get? Or hire somebody outside of a niche that's going to bring you outside perspective and help you do things differently so that you stand out from a sea of other doctors that do exactly what you do. What's more valuable to you? So these are some of the things that I want you to express through your personality. And you can go as specific as the background in your videos. We had a conversation about this before too. Look at my background right here. Look how minimal it is, besides my dog jumping up and down the couches on occasion. But it's very clean. It's very minimal. Everything is in its place intentionally. What does this background say about me as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a person? So what does your background on your videos say about you? This is what I mean about personality. I noticed a lot ever since Gary Vee started doing it. People are putting up these shelves with all their collectibles in the background, and depending on what kind of things that they collect, what are they doing? They're expressing their personality through the collectibles. So why hide that? That's what makes you different. That's what brands you. So it's very, very important here to leverage your personality when it comes to leveling up your personal brand. We don't see our personalities as our superpowers, but they are. And that's why I wanted to highlight it today. Now, the second piece of leveling up your personal brand, specifically online, is your brand's identity. What does your branding aesthetically, whether you're a personal brand or a business brand or anything in between, but in this conversation, we're talking about personal brands, right? What does your brand's identity say about you? I mentioned earlier, is it coming across cheap? And I hate to have these conversations because they're tough conversations to have. But if your identity is looking cheap, there's no wonder why you're attracting cheap clients. So I'm going to share with you real quick some identities that I've done in the past for clients that leveled up their presence. Okay, so this is Delaney Policy Group. This person is the brand. That's their last name. So this was the logo that we developed for them. This is the typography that we created for them and their logo. This is the identity system that we created for them. Now they're lobbyists, so they're in the political realm. So we had to make sure that the imagery and everything looked super polished and professional. That's what flies in this industry. So this is just one brand identity that we've built and rebranded for a client because he needed a more polished and professional look. Here's another one. Charles Harris, he's in the financial planning space. He needed a logo that was going to look the part for him. He needed a color scheme that was going to stand out, that was much different than the financial world typically uses. So we developed this cool color scheme, this cool brand identity system. When you hear me say brand identity system, this is what I'm talking about. Systems work together to create a result. This is some photography we suggested. This is some social media content, website, print collateral, large format. So these are the things that I'm talking about when it comes to brand identity. So when you see a brand identity like that online, what do you think? What do you think about? What's the first thing that comes to mind? Looks pretty premium. They might be a little pricey, but with price comes quality, comes value, comes experience, comes wisdom. How much is that worth to you? So how are you expressing your brand identity, and what does your brand identity conveying to your audience? You know, I'm a firm believer, guys. If you look the part, you could charge the part. And if you charge the part, you better deliver the part. And that's something that I stress. Yeah, you can polish something up to look super pretty and nice and eye-catching and beautiful. But if your service or product sucks, there's a much bigger problem. So you got to make sure you deliver on the goods. Now, what's another part of personal branding that could level up your positioning, level up your presence online? Right here, guys. Customer experience. Customer experience. How important is customer experience? Now, I just don't mean when they buy from you and everything that comes after that. What I'm talking about is what comes before that. So how are you demonstrating your expertise on social media. Do you have a podcast? Do you have a book? Are you doing regular live streams? Are you doing collaborations with other people to build your audience and build your awareness? Are you doing public speaking? Are you getting out there in networking events? These are some of the things that I'm talking about. How are you demonstrating your expertise and creating that experience online for them to get them to say, you know what? I want Henry. I want Andrew. I want Steve instead of everybody else. So your customer experience from before they buy to after they buy is very, very important. Now, how do you develop that? Well, there's a lot of research and development that needs to go into that before you dive in. Problem is, people jump on, they follow these social media gurus, they start doing things that isn't aligned with the people that they're trying to serve. And they spend all this money, time, and energy on the wrong things. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, not fun. So this is why we do a lot of discovery work with our clients before we start designing strategy, before we start designing identities, because we don't want to design the wrong one. We don't want you on a live stream. We don't want you on a podcast when LinkedIn is a better position for you. You don't need to own a podcast to build your expertise, to build your credibility, your authority. You don't. All you have to do is become a LinkedIn go-to. Look at Shay Rowbottom. She did that for herself. She's crushing it over there on LinkedIn. She picked LinkedIn as her place. So when you think LinkedIn, you think her. That's how I just brought her up. That's what I'm talking about. But customer experience is so important, guys. And for those folks that are here live, if you have any questions before we wrap up, drop them in the comments and I'll get to them as soon as I can. We got one more slide and then we're done. But this is something that I really want you to pay attention to. Is this line right here. The quality of your brand will determine the quality of your clients, and the quality of your clients will determine the quality of your life. I've been saying this for years, guys. And I'm telling you right now, I'll be honest with you, there's times in my life where I want to take the good enough route and just get it done. But before I make that mistake, I call time out and I repeat that line to myself. So if you want a better quality of life, if you want better quality clients, you better have a better quality brand. So be the client you wish to attract. If you want a higher paying client, then be a higher paying client. If you want people that don't nickel and dime, then don't nickel and dime. What you put into this universe is going to come right back at you. Listen, I've lived it. I've lived the beautiful side of that, and I've lived the ugly side of that. And I'm so happy at the ripe age of 41 that I've learned my lessons and now I appreciate the ugly, don't get me wrong, but I'm living the beautiful much more than I'm living the ugly. Took a lot of work, took a lot of time. I truly believe that I've been put here on this earth to help you fast track that. I don't want you to make the same mistakes I did. That's why I get out here so regularly and share my vulnerabilities and share my stories with you. Because I don't want to see you go through the same shit I went. Excuse my language. There's an easier way to do it. But it's up to you to take the action. It's not going to happen by itself. It's not. We all know that. So my question to you is, what is this worth to you? What is your personal brand worth to you? That's the question. So now let me ask you this. Do you need help with this? Do you need a strategic plan? Do you need help with discovery? Do you need somebody to come in and actually build this identity system for you, this messaging system for you? Then the first thing is I highly recommend you book the assessment. What's the assessment going to do for you? How is it going to help you? It's very simple. We're going to jump on a call. We're going to get dirty. I'm going to dive into your business pretty deep and find out what exactly is going on. Where are you stuck? Where are you stuck that you don't even know you're stuck? What are those blind spots that are stopping you from getting to where you want to be? That's what this assessment is going to uncover for you. Then what are we going to do? I'm going to provide some opportunities for you. I'm going to show you my program. I'm going to show you other people's program, whatever makes sense for you to help you get the results that you're looking for. That's what that assessment is designed for. So at the end of the assessment, you're going to have some actionable steps to take. You're going to know what direction to go in, whether it's working with me or working with somebody else. At least you know more than what you know now. That's the key. So all you have to do is go to uniquedesigns.net and book that assessment today, and we will make that happen for you. I see Andrew here has a quick little comment. It says, thanks for sharing the insights. Totally believe the way it all works, universally speaking. Yeah. And then he said, love watching your journey and who you've become. Such a legend. I appreciate you, Andrew. I remember you from years ago. I remember you. So I appreciate your support. I appreciate you continuing to watch my journey as I feel like at 41, I'm just getting started. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Every Monday, every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, I do live streams like this on all of my channels. So if you're watching on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, you can't get away from me. Drop me some comments. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was here. If you have questions, drop them down below. I'm here for you guys. I want to see you win. I want to see you guys create a brand that you're truly proud of so that you can run on a full tank of confidence, so that you can start closing bigger and better deals and start creating that life that you love. So have an amazing day, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one real soon. Take care.